All right. Hello and welcome to just another episode of the Blockbuster Bash Brothers. We are doing Zoom style today, which
Hello.
is new for us. That's Travis LaBroucherie, co-host. I'm your host, Trevor Rocco.
When you do a Zoom, do you look at the camera or do you look at yourself or do you look at the other person in the Zoom?
There's no time that I'm ever not looking at myself.
All right.
Sweet. So today's episode is about our favorite movies from the last decade, so 2010 to 2019. And we both compiled our lists. And are you ready, Travis?
About as ready as I can be.
How much time did you spend on your list?
I didn't spend enough time or
Mhm.
I don't know if it was not enough or too much.
Yeah, you start overthinking things.
50 is a hard number to reach. I wish it was like 60
250.
or 70
Okay.
or 1,000.
Yeah, well, no, then we'd just be including just bad stuff.
But hey, sometimes the bad movies are my favorite, but not really this this decade.
Yeah, this decade, let's just stick to the stuff we liked. So I guess we'll share the lists here as we start going down. The basic concept for what we were doing here is that we want to share with y'all our picks for our favorite movies of the decade. No particular order. I think we both have them in like chronological order, so earliest first. And we're going to go through and we're going to talk about how you can watch them yourself because some of them are available for streaming and a lot of people are looking for stuff to watch right now.
Yeah. Uh, Fun fact about my list: I didn't include any documentaries.
I didn't take I believe I only had two documentaries on my list. I didn't take them out, so my list is currently at 52. But I knew that we were gonna X those documentaries out. I just didn't take them off my list yet.
Oh, okay.
But if there's any that you want to mention, we can mention at the end or something like that.
Sure.
Okay, kick us off. What's the first one on your list?
Well, is this my list we're looking at right now?
We're looking at your list right now.
We got Boy from 2010. What a
The
great way to start the decade.
the feature film debut, directorial debut of Taika Waititi.
Yes. I think it's safe to say he's our favorite director.
Yeah, he cracked the list a couple of times for me, and I believe probably for you as well.
Yes.
Boy was on my list at a point and found its way off within the last couple of days. But I regret it.
You regret it?
Yeah, taking it off.
Oh, well, at least it's on mine.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I think it jumped off mine because I knew we'd be talking about it anyways.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine. So where can people find Boy?
Boy, you can find on Canopy, Hoopla, Vudu, Tubi, and Epix.
That's a lot of options.
That is
Um,
a lot of options. The only one I'm actually familiar with is Canopy.
what is Canopy?
It's a streaming service that if you have a library card and your library is like allowed to have access to this, you get access to all these free movies.
That's nice. What's a library?
Um, a library is basically a blockbuster for books.
Oh, like a bookbuster.
Yeah, some call it that.
Good. And scene. All right, so that's where you can find Boy on all of those streaming services.
And fun
Here, let
fact,
me.
that's the only movie from 2010 that made my list.
Oh, that is a fun fact. Here is the synopsis for anybody watching and like to pause the video and get a little bit more information about it.
Oh, that's good, but they can't click more. That's the
That
what
is
what they should do is get a letterbox account and follow us and log their movies along with us.
that's true. If you haven't subscribed to Letterbox, go do it. It is free and it is the best way to track your movies. And keep lists of things you want to watch.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one on my list, minus the Rush documentary, is Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which I think most people are probably familiar with.
That's kind of like Alien versus Predator, right?
Yeah, Predator. The World plays the part of Predator, and Scott Pilgrim plays the part of Alien.
Excellent.
Good. Edgar Wright, director, you'll know him for the Cornetto trilogy and other things. This is it's kind of a really video game infused, I don't know, indie film kind of thing.
And who doesn't like video games?
I like them. They're pretty good.
Me too.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World is on Netflix. You can see it. You can see it there. All right. What's next up for you, Travis?
Well, next up happens to be my favorite movie, not only of the decade, but of all time. Well, there are some movies that are, coming close to taking the top spot, but as of right now, I can still say that this is my favorite movie.
Nice. Are you
But for
gonna
those who
say the title?
Drive.
I mean, it's up there, so they get it.
Yes. Drive,
Um,
2011. Ryan Gosling. He's so cool.
a real quiet role.
Oh yeah, very quiet.
He's generally a talker,
Well,
but if
I
you like
feel,
brooding,
I feel like there's two types of Ryan Gosling. There's this type where it's like Drive and shoot, what's that? I can't remember the other movies right now, but what? Oh, like Place Beyond the Pines
hmm
and First Man. He does have like it's either he's really quiet or he's really talkative.
the only one you hear.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
it's very opposite.
I would say that his quieter roles are the ones that I generally am not super into, but this is the best one, I think.
Oh, definitely.
All right, well, great.
Here's
Where?
another example.
Oh yes. Where can you find Drive?
Drive currently is on Netflix.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Good stuff. All right. So, with a very slow internet connection, I believe the next one on my list is a comedy. Oh wait, no, it's not a comedy. Well, it's kind of funny. That would be True Grit, one of a few Coen brothers films on my list.
One
They
of
made
few.
one of a few. They made a few films, and I think maybe all but one or two made my list.
I don't think
This
any
is
on my list.
really that's too bad. That's fine. I'll talk about them. They're great, all of them. I like them. And if you have a affinity for westerns, this is a remake, but it's just real great Jeff Bridges. You know what I mean?
And a great cast.
Yeah, for sure. There it is, all down there.
Like, I mean, just the like the those first seven names,
Mhm.
outstanding.
It's a real silly, but silly but gritty take on this film. I believe it's John Wayne originally was
Hmm.
the man in True Grit, Rooster Cogburn. So check it out if you haven't. Maybe you missed that one. I don't know why you would. I think it won Best Picture that year, or it was definitely nominated and won a few things that year. So
It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I would like to rewatch it. Where can I watch it?
you could find it on a few different places. You can find it on Hulu, you can find it on Amazon Prime, and you can find it on Epix.
Nice.
All right, what's up for you?
That would be the romantic comedy Crazy Stupid Love. This is one of the opposite roles from Drive for Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, this is like one of my favorite rom-coms of all time.
It is a good one. Not a genre I'm super into usually, but I do like this movie a lot.
Yeah, and you can find it on HBO and DirecTV.
Oh, like the subscription DirecTV.
I yes.
Okay, cool. That
Or
sounds good to me.
if you really need to, you can call me up and I can mail you my DVD of it.
You're gonna get so many messages, and now you're just gonna have to
Yeah.
go buy more copies.
Well, first come, first serve.
The next movie on my list, also from 2011, is Horrible Bosses. It's a very funny movie and one of my more laugh out loud movies. And in the theaters, I did see this one in the theaters before I started working at a theater, and I was having a hard time containing my giggles.
Nice.
So, but unfortunately, not available anywhere right now. Of course, you can, always rent it or buy it on one of any of the other streaming services, but won't waste too much time. I think most people are familiar with it and not necessarily available right now.
All right. Horrible Boss is not a horrible pick.
I believe the next one is on both of our lists.
It sure is. Actually, honestly, the next three that are on my list are on both of our lists.
Oh, really? Yeah, I got one there, but
That's all right.
why don't you say something about Goon?
Well, it's definitely one of my favorite, not only hockey movies, but sports movies. Um, not just in the last decade or this decade, but of all time. I wouldn't say it's my favorite hockey movie because I got to give it up for Youngblood.
You're going a different direction there, but
Well, I could also say like D2 to my Ducks,
mhm,
but this comes in very close to both those.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not one that I was expecting to be super great, and this was around the time I was really getting into hockey, so I thought maybe it was like a bias thing. But rewatching it, I know it's definitely strong comedy, really funny representation of how uh, this kind of like a hockey lifestyle is, and really, it's a good timepiece.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth checking out, even if you're not into hockey. It's still very funny.
And where can we find this?
I do believe it's still on Netflix and Hoopla, if you have that library card subscription.
Oh, nice. Whoever thought like having a library card would come in handy?
Yeah, right. I just tried to log in the other day with my library card from like 20 years ago. It did not work.
Oh, well, maybe you maybe you have an overdue book.
It's possible from a very long time ago. I believe the next on our list is the another sports one. It's Moneyball. Um, I am. I think this is one of two films by Ben and Miller on my list. I think that as far as character study movies or movies really getting into like the backstory of a real person, I think that Ben and Miller is the one who does this the best. And so, if you haven't seen his movies, specifically Moneyball, um, definitely check them out. They're really, really strong character studies.
And Moneyball, Nolan L. Responded with saying, "The greatest baseball film of all time, not named Sandlot. The,
Oh, nice.
the fact Brad Pitt didn't win Best Actor was criminal. Being from the Bay Area, film goes the extra mile."
Nice. Good blurb there from Nolan. We should preface that by saying a lot of people responded to our inquiries about um, what their favorite movie of the decade was. So we may interject with a few here and there, as long as they are covered in our list. But at the end, we'll mention some other ones that people included that aren't on the list here. All right, cool. So Moneyball can be found. Where can Moneyball be found?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, do you know?
No,
Okay.
it wasn't on my list.
Oh, right. I have it on mine. It's fine. You can find Moneyball on Stars if you have Stars, and also the aforementioned Hoopla if you have the library card thing.
All right.
All right, the next one on both of our lists. Oh,
Sam,
wait. Was Moneyball not on your list?
it was not.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought that was the one that I mentioned that squeezed in between there.
Yeah.
So here's the next one. Seven Psychopaths.
Badminton of them.
What do you have to say about Seven Psychopaths?
Like I was very surprised at how much I loved this film. Like, going into it, I didn't know anything about it really, and it was just I don't know. It's like it's not a film that I can really compare to many others. Like I can't think of a film that's like, oh, that's kind of like blah blah blah.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there are, and like I'm just kind of being stupid right now, and I can't think.
It's a little morbid, but like in a really good way,
Yeah,
funny way. I believe we saw this one together, right? This was the first movie I ever watched at my work.
really.
Yeah, me and you, just the two of us. It was a cute little date we had
Wait, Leah's saying something else.
That's the first movie Travis and I watched together.
at
Huh,
your house.
Yeah,
Okay,
really?
nice.
from my apartment.
I I knew that.
You don't remember anything from
That's
either of
true.
our relationships. It's ridiculous, man. Come on,
Wow. Well, maybe that's why this movie. Maybe that's maybe that's why this movie is so special to me.
because you watched it with both of us.
Yeah.
Cute. All right. Oh, this was somebody's favorite movie. An old teammate of ours, Dave Titus, said that this was the best movie of the decade.
Wow.
So good on you, Dave.
Way to be.
Go eyeballs. All right. So next up, at least for me, is The Untouchables.
Never saw it.
Didn't get around to it, huh? Did you see The Upside with Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston?
No, because I wanted to see this one first.
So you haven't seen either. As far as remakes go, The Upside's not too bad. It made a lot of money too. A lot of people went and saw it, but I feel like most of the people, if they had made the decision to see this one instead, would have probably said, "Oh, well, the other one's just kind of meh," because this is a phenomenal movie that even had American theatrical release at the time that it came out as a French film. But this is, I think, one of the highest-grossing French films in America. So it's really
Nice.
good.
En français.
Yeah, so it's subtitled. There's a few of those on these lists here. So
So what you're telling me is like you have to read when you watch this movie.
yeah,
So basically, it's like going to a library.
yeah, yes. So this one is available for free on a streaming site called Tubi.
To be.
Not really familiar with, but it's free there. So
Oh,
get Tubi and then watch it for free.
to be or not to be.
All right, so we've moved into 2012, I believe.
Oh, dude, wasn't that the year the world was gonna end?
Yes, they're a couple years
Years
early.
a little short.
Yeah. So then, go ahead and you want to tell us about this one here?
Ooh, Django Unchained.
hmm
Uh, my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
That goes for me as well.
Um, there's some other great ones he's done, but this one,
We may talk about them later in the list.
not like for me, like here is Django Unchained, and the next best Quentin Tarantino movie is probably like right here.
Wow, the neck.
A whole headspace.
I would agree.
Um, yeah, this is a a Western with excuse me.
Violent undertones,
Oh, I don't even know if undertones.
overtones.
Yeah, more like overtones probably. Or I don't know. Maybe it's just somewhere in the middle. But
Christoph
definitely, it's
Waltz.
definitely violent and bloody, and um, you know, deals with racism, and I don't
But
know.
it's
I'm
a
not
it's
sure if Quentin Tarantino is the right person to be
making this movie.
films about racism, but regardless of who made this film, I still like it. Like,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a great revenge film, and that Christoph Waltz role is just fantastic.
yeah. And honestly, I think Leo was snubbed.
Oh yeah, for sure. He was so good.
Yeah.
Real strong performances all around. Django Unchained is currently not available on Netflix, but it will be back on the 25th of this month.
Can you wait that long?
If you can't, you can get it on Sling TV.
All right. Do you know anybody with a sling?
No, like the for their injury or for TV. Mhm. Okay, so let's see here. What was that?
I said, what's next?
What's next for me is um, Kings of Summer,
Ooh,
which I don't believe you didn't have Kings of Summer, right?
I I didn't. I did
Uh,
enjoy the film though.
yeah, that's okay. Uh, you should have had it. It's great. This is what's the guy's name? I can only see his first name. Jordan something. He directed Kong Skull Island, but first he did this, which is kind of a real kind of a coming of age film, but it's done in a real silly way with a lot of funny scenes where it's kind of like in the main character's head. So there's some CGI and it's a lot of fun. And then there's, I don't know, just it's like a boys find a place to build a campground kind of thing and they run away from home and it's fun and it's funny, real funny. And you'll notice a lot of the supporting roles are played by big names and very funny people.
I just finished a film last night called Monos or something, which is on Hulu.
Mhm.
Very good, but it has Moises Arias in it.
Oh, nice. Didn't
He's
know
the
he was in that.
only person I recognized in that.
For sure. That's where's that movie from? It's a European film, right?
I don't actually know that it's European. It kind of like seems like South American, but
Oh yeah,
I don't actually know. But it's on Hulu.
for sure.
I recommend people to check it out. Not on my list, but
I heard it was sad.
what?
I heard it was sad.
Um, I mean, I can cry.
I should mention Kings of Summer is available on Prime Video. Next up for you, I believe, is this movie here.
Her. Yes, this is like I think one of the most like beautiful, like well shot, well lit movies of all time.
Mm.
Um, just the like lighting alone and like the
It,
color,
I was gonna say they do a lot of good stuff with color.
yeah, like that alone like just made me like love this film.
It's a real technology precursor too.
Yeah, which I mean, in this day and age,
Yeah. I like Joaquin Phoenix in a more relaxed role too, even though he's still kind of like a crazy person, falling
Uh,
in love with the OS. I feel it's still his like least crazy role ever. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's probably true.
Somehow he's the most relatable in this movie.
I don't know. I kind of relate to him in Signs.
I haven't seen Signs in a long time, but I know that's your favorite Joaquin Phoenix movie.
Well, no, I think this. Well, I don't know. That's a tough call. Probably
We
is.
don't need to have the debate now. Where can we find her?
You can find her on Netflix.
Really? Okay, cool.
Find her. I hardly know her.
I will quickly talk about the next one on my list because it's currently not available anywhere, but I do want to mention it because it is probably in my top 10 of the decade. It is The Way, Way Back,
Oh yeah, I
which
know you
is,
like this movie.
yeah, which is my favorite Sam Rockwell role of all time.
Wow.
Another real strong cast, very funny people playing small roles or the ancillary characters. Another coming of age story came out right around the same time as Kings of Summer. Um, a nice feel good film, but not currently available anywhere. But I do recommend buying it if you want to go that route.
All right.
All right. So what is next for you, my friend?
Next for me is a film that I saw for the first time just a few days ago or last week or whenever this was, but it's Blue Ruin. Um, who it's the same director as some people might have seen Green Room,
Hmm.
um, among other films. I can't remember what other films, but this just like kind of blew my mind when I watched it the other night.
Hmm.
Like it's kind of crazy. Like
Very intense, very violent, but
and
like
like
gripping, like real. It's a real gripper, Nunez.
yeah, yes, and like I don't know. When you're watching it, you're kind of you don't know. I didn't really know whether I was supposed to be rooting for the protagonist or not.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
it's, it's intense.
Definitely ambiguous in the hero role. Yes,
Yeah,
I've seen it. It's an excellent film.
I recommend it.
Where can we
And
find
it's
it?
on Netflix.
Wow, you got a lot of stuff on Netflix on your list.
Um, so far, that's only the second one or
Oh,
third one.
probably because I also have been saying ones that are on Netflix.
Well, I haven't. Yeah, you're right.
All right. Next up on my list, if it'll ever load, is another one of my favorites and another Coen Brothers movie. Would be Inside Llewyn Davis. I think probably a little bit of a lesser seen Coen Brothers movie.
I'd say.
Um, maybe you missed it. It's real. It's got a great music and a real unlikable lead role, but this is really for me the. I'm lots of people know Oscar Isaac now, but I mean, he really was kind of a nobody or what hadn't been in too much stuff at this point, and this really put him on my radar. He's really good.
The reason I saw this movie is because of him. Well,
Why?
I wouldn't say that, but he was Oscar Isaac is in Drive, and I
Right, for sure. But I didn't even he wasn't even on my radar even after Drive, really. But after this, I was like, yep.
good old Oscar.
And Carey Mulligan also very good in this. Inside Llewyn Davis can be found
Drive.
on Prime Video.
All right,
And next up for you, I believe.
this movie is not streaming anywhere currently.
Oh, that's too bad.
It is too bad. And I think this is one of the coolest animated movies of the decade. And it didn't even get an Oscar nomination in Best Animated Film, and I think that was baloney.
I would agree. I
Uh,
think if you haven't checked out a lot of stuff by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, you should.
and yeah, especially if you like Legos, like
I do. So yeah, you said not available anywhere, right?
not available anywhere that I know of,
Dang.
except my DVD collection.
Yeah. But most things are available there. So, email or message Travis and he'll get back to you as soon as he can.
Yeah.
All right. The next one for me is a little film known as Nebraska. Personally, I'm not a huge Alexander Payne fan. I like some of the stuff I've seen, Sideways and Election. Most recently Downsizing. I did like that one, but I think this film, at least for me, is really his standout film of not just of the decade, but of his work. I like everybody in it: Bruce Dern, Will Forte, Bob Odenkirk, of course. But I thought this was like the best comedy wise as far as his films, and I was laughing the whole time. And it's a little strange choice for black and white, but still definitely one of my favorites of the decade.
I haven't seen this or any of those other movies you've mentioned.
Really? So you got a
Except
little
like the first 20 minutes of the Downsizing I watched, but I had to stop for who knows what.
all right. Sorry for the blip. We had a little bit of a connection issue.
It's funny because when it all happened, you were frozen and I was still talking, but I don't think Frozen made either of our lists
Why would it?
because it's a great movie.
No, I disagree. Anyways, we were talking about Nebraska. It's very good. Um, I don't remember where we
Like
left off.
Nebraska, but I've never seen the film.
Check it out. It's available on Crackle, and you can also get it on Canopy.
Yes, I did see that on Canopy, and I think that's one I will check out on Canopy.
There you go. All right, next up for you, I believe, is also on my list.
It sure is.
Oh, there it is there.
Oh, whoa. Oh, no, that's not.
It's different.
It's different.
Uh,
Have you ever gotten here?
gotten what before?
Whiplash?
No, I have not.
I don't think I have either.
It's a good thing.
Leah has.
Oh, I'm one that's prone to a lot of neck problems, so maybe I have, but not diagnosed whiplash.
Yeah, I since I have a mullet, I keep my neck protected.
I'm sure that helps.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out Whiplash. It's very good. It's a very edgier seat, and it's a great uh, conversation about where the line is with pushing yourself and talent and what that means.
And J.K. Simmons alone is just phenomenal.
I believe they call that a tour de force.
Oh, who's they?
People who sound smart.
Oh, so not me.
Well, me right now. So, Whiplash is available nowhere.
Darn it, Market.
That's too bad. Definitely check it out if you have the means.
When you say nowhere, like nowhere for free.
Yeah, nowhere for free. Sorry, I should preface that each time. I mean, obviously, you can get any of these
I
movies.
rent it from somewhere, but we're specifically talking about like things that most people have subscriptions to or can get free subscriptions to.
Yes, exactly. I should also mention we're not really going into like what the plot and things are about most of these movies. That's because there's the description's on the screen there. So if you would like to know more specifically about what the movie is about, if you're not familiar with it, you know, pause the video, read the blurb. We're mostly just want to quick bits about, our thoughts about it or why we liked it.
Or else we'll be here all day and all night.
Yes. We may be here all day and all night anyways. The next one on my list was American Hustle. And if you're not familiar with David O. Russell, he does mostly good stuff. He's had a few swings and misses over the years, but this one was my favorite. I love the ensemble cast. I thought they were all very, very good in this. This was a movie that was nominated, I believe, for 9 or 10 Oscars, but didn't win any.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's one every year where it gets nominated for lots of stuff and misses out. This was that one in 2013. But if you like a good con film or like I guess it's thriller-ish, it's great, I think. American Hustle is available on FX Now and Sling.
Sling.
Okay, what's next for you? I like the next one on your list,
Oh, mine's Guardians of the Galaxy.
the original.
Yes. I mean, I also really do like the sequel,
Yeah, me too.
but I felt that I didn't want to include both of them on my list. But they
Probably a good call. So for those who aren't familiar with it, what would you like to tell them about Guardians of the Galaxy?
Well, one thing I want to say, Kyle L.
Mm,
said he remembers having a great time watching that. Talking about the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
it is a great movie if you want to just like sit down, chill, have a great time. You know what I mean? Like it's like the stakes are high in regards to the Marvel situation, but
Mhm.
like it's really like a low stakes, sit back and just kind of enjoy the ride kind of movie.
And it's a great mix of both action and comedy.
Yes, which most of my favorite movies do.
Yeah, honestly.
I would assume that you can find this one on Disney Plus. Is that correct?
Oh, where the heck is my list? And that is true.
Good, good. I'm glad that I got that right.
Not apparently not all the Marvel films are on Disney Plus right now.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Not necessarily something that matters to me, but matters to a lot of people out there.
It sure does.
Cool. So the next one on my list, once it eventually loads, is the Skeleton Twins,
Ooh, spooky.
which I have explained my affinity for over the years since 2014 when it came out.
It's true.
It is, yes, it is a great film. One of my favorite things in film is when somebody that you know only for comedy comes through with something dramatic and really blows your socks off. Good examples of that would be Steve Carell, and there's certain things. Foxcatcher is one we'll get to later on. Jim Carrey in Man on the Moon, or a couple other things. Robin Williams, Good Will Hunting. So this is, I think, that kind of film for both Bill Hader and Kristen Wiig. So I think real good job. And of course, it's also very funny. But this is it's a really sweet story.
Great.
You can find it on Prime Video. You can find it on Hulu, and you can find it on Epix.
Wow, all three, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't realize that. So I may go watch it for like a sixth or seventh time soon.
Nice.
All right. So next on your list is,
I
you
believe,
could say it.
Demolition. I can't see it on the screen, but
No,
oh,
actually, the next one on your list is also on my list.
that's true. Mad Max Fury Road.
But I think I have a lot from this year, so mine's way further down the list, but that's fine.
Well, let's talk about it though.
What's left to say? I mean, first of all, we should mention that it's not available for streaming, I don't believe.
That sucks,
Yeah.
man. Um, Tom C says Tom Hardy as the title role playing a supporting character with mostly just grunts, and then one of these emojis. Also, horse teeth on humans are terrifying, and how Miller speeds the film up just a little bit to make it extra off. Thanks, Tom C.
Those weren't necessarily like high praise. They're more like nitpicks.
Hey, you know, another one man's high praise is another man's nitpicks.
That's true. So if you're not familiar with the Mad Max series of films, they don't really apply. I watched the first two in preparation for this and didn't see any kind of
Wait,
through
you
lines.
skipped out on Thunderdome?
I still haven't seen it.
Wow. This is my favorite of the Mad Max series
Oh yeah, for
by
sure.
far. But I still like the other Mad Max. They're cool.
I can't. I mean, I haven't seen all of them, so we'll see. But yeah, this took me a couple of rewatches before it really cemented itself. The first time I saw it, I liked it, but it was just like I wasn't prepared at all because the other two movies that I'd watched in preparation were completely nothing like it. So
Yeah. And in regards to Thunderdome, it's not the best of the, but I think the concept is like they should have like the next Mad Max uh series or movie should be Mad Max Return to Thunderdome, and it's just 2 hours of inside Thunderdome. That'd be tight.
okay, well, make sure you send that script over to Mr. Miller.
I'm gonna write it myself.
Tight. Okay, so that I think I have a few in because that's 2015 there, and the rest of the years are here are 2015 as well. So I have a few in 2014 that we got to get through real
Oh,
quick.
catch up. Let's catch up with those real quick.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I can blaze through them real quick here. Hold on. I believe the next one on my list is What We Do in the Shadows, which I don't believe was on your list.
It was not,
Okay.
but it's I mean Psycho TD, so it's great.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe his, well, questionably at least top two for me. Taika Waititi films, I believe. Just one of the funniest things that happened last decade, for sure, and not one on paper that you would think would be the funniest. And I would also want to mention that in a real rushed uh, answer given, Eddie and Julia both believe that this is the best movie of the decade.
Oh wow.
Or when put on the spot very quickly last night while playing games over the internet.
Well, thank you, Eddie and Julia.
A little bit of trivia about this: I was a financial backer for this film and the U.S. release
Wow, I didn't know
because it
that.
it was a Kickstarter.
That's tight. Did you get anything for doing that?
I believe they sent me a digital copy of the script,
What?
but I don't remember exactly what it was because I didn't. I mean, I didn't do the like $100 like signed copy of the movie thing. In retrospect, that would have been a smart move. But yeah, I think it was just like I got like a thank you email from one of them, and then it was like a copy of the script was attached, I think.
That's pretty tight.
Yeah. Let's see. What We Do in the Shadows is available on the library platforms, Hoopla and Canopy.
Oh
So you
yeah.
can catch those over there. The next one on my list
A quick
is,
question though.
yeah.
What about What We Do in the Shadows, the show? Is that any good?
Have you watched it?
I haven't yet.
You should. It's very good.
That's like the next thing I want to start.
Yeah, I just rewatched it like last week because I hadn't rewatched it yet.
And that's on Hulu.
That is on Hulu, and the new season starts in a couple of weeks, I think. So
Great.
Yeah.
I'll watch it before then.
Yep. The next one on my list is Boyhood. A last minute addition. I believe I bumped something else specifically for it. Not currently available. Don't know why, but it's it's a very good film. It's very long, but specifically for the filmmaking aspects of it, I would say that it is one of the stronger movies of the decade. The next one on my list also is not available currently. It's the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Well, dang, it sucks that that's not available.
Yeah, Wes Anderson, of course. I believe this is the best Wes Anderson movie. There's a lot of good ones, and a lot of people would argue for some of the other ones, Tenenbaums specifically.
My
Um,
favorite is Life Aquatic.
yeah, I think it's probably up top five for most people. And then trying to think, I guess Moonrise Kingdom, another one that I toyed with being on the list.
Yeah,
But I think this is number one. I think
it's
so.
pretty good.
If you haven't seen it, it's very funny. If you haven't seen it, definitely worth checking out.
We have
There's
a little blurb about that.
okay.
Nolan L says the Grand Budapest Hotel, the best example of organized chaos I've ever seen in a film, both hilarious and dramatic. Lord Voldemort at his best. Tony Revolori is very underrated.
I would agree with all that.
All right. Thank you, Nolan L.
Nolan L really putting in the work today. We
Yeah,
appreciate it. We
yeah.
appreciate you. The next one on the list for me is Chef, which is my go-to movie when I am very hungry.
I think that's the last movie you and I saw together.
That might be.
I mean, it was your like, I don't know, 100th time seeing it, but it was my first time.
That's
And
true.
me too.
We haven't been to the cinema since then.
I don't know.
All right, well, that's could be accurate. So yeah, great movie about food. One of the better movies out there about food, I think. And I mean, unless you're eating or you're about to make something really good for yourself, don't watch it on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
Although you may enjoy it more if you do.
I don't know. Like even when we had eaten or were eating, all the food just it was so good looking.
Yeah, delicious. Another one I thought it was on Netflix. You could watch the Chef Show on Netflix, but apparently the movie is not currently available on Netflix.
Well, that is a bummer.
I imagine that'll change at some point here. So look for it. I think this is the last one from 2014 for me. It is Foxcatcher. I just mentioned it a couple of minutes ago. The Steve Carell of it all, and it is about the Olympic wrestling team. He plays John DuPont, and it's a complete like character change. You know, it's like completely, it's crazy. It's awesome.
Oh,
Definitely worth checking out. It's a little slow in parts, but again, this is the other Bennett Miller film that I was talking about. He also did Moneyball.
yes.
All right, so what is next? What's next for you? Because we're into
Um,
2015 now.
yes, now is Demolition,
Yes.
which I mean everyone loves Jake Gyllenhaal,
Hmm.
but this personally is my favorite Jake Gyllenhaal performance.
Really?
Yes.
It is very good. He's very good in it. Not this wasn't a super widely accepted critical film. Not everybody liked it. You know what I mean?
Yep. And it's not everyone is smart.
I'd agree with that. I did also really like this movie, so I do believe it was just outside of my top 10 the year it came out. 2015 was a good year though, so where can we find this movie?
You can't.
Ah, that's too
It's
bad.
not streaming anywhere for free or on one of those Netflix or Hulu.
So
So,
unfortunate.
bummer.
All right, the next one for me is Nightcrawler.
Oh, another Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, it's perfectly set up here. Um, if you are familiar with Dan Gilroy, this was his first film. Unfortunately, his more recent stuff has been a little less exciting. I was excited after this to see what else he had, though I did still enjoy his other movies. He uh, he did this one, which is excellent. Probably in my top five. This is my Jake Gyllenhaal performance of the decade.
Yeah.
And man, what a creepy but exciting role that was.
Yeah, just thinking about him gives me the willies.
Yeah, for sure. Really study of sociopaths.
Um, Kyle L says acting isn't something I usually focus on as much as visual elements of a film, but Gyllenhaal was so fucking good in this movie, riveting to watch the subtleties. Goddamn, I can't even read right now. Um, and layers of fake charm that sociopaths can use to manipulate people.
Very, very astute.
So thank you, Kyle L. Sorry for butchering your little take on Nightcrawler.
I think you did just fine, bud.
I'll live with that for the rest of my life.
All right, next up on your list.
Oh, a little Star Wars action?
Yeah, a little Star Wars action.
Yes. I mean, what more can I say? It was just great to have Star Wars reemerge into my life.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, it was back, and I think everybody's watching this probably has seen it. I'm sure you can catch it on Disney Plus.
Let me check my notes. Yes.
And Nightcrawler, I forgot to mention, is only available on IMDb TV.
Oh, but that's free.
Yeah, I believe it's free. So, if you have access to that, check it out. It used to be on Netflix. I don't think it is anymore. So you win
Well,
some, you lose some.
if you want to win the lottery, you got to have enough money to buy a ticket.
Good quote.
All
Okay,
right.
so do you have anything else to say about Star Wars?
Not really. I mean, probably most people have seen it,
Yeah.
but for those who haven't, I would check it out.
Hmm. The next one on my list is a little film called Love and Mercy, which you can check out on Prime Video, Hulu, and Epix. It seems like that pairing happens a lot. So this is the biopic about Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys.
Oh, I thought it was Brian Wilson of the Giants.
Yeah, no, that one's we're still a couple of decades away from that one.
Yeah.
And this is where he is played by Paul Dano and John Cusack at two different parts in his life, and then the two it's kind of like two films intertwined. It is so good, and I'm not even really that big of a Beach Boys fan, but this movie is they really did a great job, like especially talking about like depression and I guess mental illness kind of is what it is. Um, but yeah, the Paul Giamatti role, really good.
Yeah, I didn't like him.
I mean, he plays the bad guy,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely worth checking out. As I said, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Epix.
Whose performance did you like better, Paul Dano's or John Cusack's?
I'm more of a fan of Paul Dano in general, so that would probably be what pushed it over the edge for me. But they're both so good in it.
All right.
All right, this next one I believe is on both our lists.
Oh yeah.
Although I have one, two, three, four, five movies in between that last one of yours and
Well, do
this
you
one.
want to talk about those first?
Oh, let's just talk about Sing Street. It's up on the screen now.
Okay.
Sing Street, another one that probably definitely in my top 10 of the decade, possibly top five.
Yeah, it's it's so fun.
Yeah, and you know my hatred for musicals.
But this is like an exception.
Right, but this is how I think that music should be integrated in film.
Right.
More like this and less like let's break into song. So I think if you like music, musical films, watch this and we want to know what you think.
Yes.
And you're probably not going to recognize anybody in this film either.
Except for maybe
Jack
well,
Rayner.
Jack Rayner and Lucy Boynton.
Hmm.
I feel like you might recognize her.
Yeah. No big names though, and that's part of its charm too, I think. So,
Mhm.
really catchy songs.
Yes.
This is one of my go-tos for group watches or whenever people are looking for something that they haven't seen before. This is one of the first
Anytime
ones
you
I
get a
name.
recommendation, this is one to say.
Top of the list. All right, Sing Street is available. Where's Sing Street available? On some weirder platforms. It's on Vudu for free right now. It's on Tubi. It's on Pluto, and it's on Roku TV.
Roku.
So if you have a Roku, it's available for free.
All right.
Otherwise, you can download Vudu and watch it there for sure. All right, so let me catch myself up here. What do we got? What do we got? Okay, so the next one in the order is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl,
Great.
which is another great film. Really, really a bit of an odd film. Alfonso Gomez Rayon most recently did The Current War.
And which wars currently?
The one about currents. So he is. This is, I believe, was his debut. Is another one with some funny people playing supporting roles. Another one of my faves. Of course, you can read the synopsis here. I don't want to get too far into it, but it's just it's really quirky and really interesting. Uh, and it's got that aspect of films about making films as well.
I love a film like that.
Yeah, for sure. So if you like that, it's really good. Really sweet story. Me and Earl and Dying Girl not available right now. Sorry, I spent too much time on
That's
it. Okay, and next up on my list is the only animated film on my list,
whoa.
and that would be Inside Out,
Inside Out.
which I think is the most poignant of the Pixar films. I think they generally do really good work. A lot of their original stuff got made into sequels this decade, so it's not. I'm not one for getting psyched up on a sequel, but this was, I think, their best original content of the decade. So, and if you haven't seen it, it's great for this is one of the better ones for adults, I think. If you're one of those people who doesn't like to watch animated films because they don't have kids or they're not super into it. Inside Out, of course, is available on Disney Plus.
And it
Oh,
has hockey in it.
it does, yeah. Hoopla, it's also available on,
Oh.
which is strange to me because I feel like Disney never lets their movies go to anyone other than themselves. Like they don't let theaters replay their movies. They don't let any other streaming services have their movies except for Netflix until they got their own streaming service.
Oh, what a strange world we live in.
Yeah. All right, we're almost caught up here. Oh no, we're not. I still got three more to go. The Big Short is the next one on my list. It's a little bit of a, I mean, Adam McKay, you know what I mean? He does comedy so well, but he also does very serious and informative stuff as well too. So if you haven't gone down that road of his, Big Short and Vice, definitely worth checking out both of them. And The Big Short, I think, is the better of the films, and it's got that real star power to it too. So every little role is somebody you'll recognize and bringing their A game. So a little bit confusing because it's about the housing market, but really informative.
Yeah.
The Big Short is available on Pluto TV.
Hooray.
Okay, next one is, where to go? Oh, The Hateful Eight, my favorite movie of that year, according to my list. I don't know if that's true anymore, but the other Tarantino movie or one of the other Tarantino movies on my list. If you liked Django Unchained, you should also like The Hateful Eight because it's still Western style. But what I loved about The Hateful Eight is it's like a bottle episode of a TV show, but a movie. So it's just they set it up, they put everybody in the same room, and then it allows Tarantino to do what he does best, which is just the best dialogue out there. Creates tension. It's very good. Hateful Eight, definitely worth checking out. Hateful Eight is available on Netflix,
Great.
both as a film and as a mini series that you can watch in 4 or 5 parts with extended footage.
See, that's the one I want to watch next. Is the extended.
I did watch it, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. It's great. But it had been so long since I watched it originally that I didn't know what was new and what wasn't. I couldn't really pick it out. And then the last one before we're caught up here is Hunt for the Wilder People, yet another Taika Waititi. So it is. I have such a hard time ranking all of his movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the most recent one I would say is, I mean, I don't know how it couldn't be my favorite, but I mean, it's just they're all so good.
They are also good, and this one barely, missed my list.
Hmm.
It's like I can say it's my 4th favorite film of his.
Hmm. And that's saying something because I know you love this movie.
Yeah.
Um, so if you haven't seen it, I won't go into the here's your details on it. But if you're like looking at it like I did originally and said, that doesn't sound that interesting to me, just
Well, you're wrong.
ignore that thought
Yeah.
and watch it. It's hilarious and it's so much fun. This is one of the every once in a while I show my staff a film. This is one of the ones that I did, and there wasn't a single person who didn't love it. So, Hunt for the Wilder People available on Hulu, and then the 2 library services, Canopy and Hoopla.
Nice. So no excuses to not see this movie.
Yep.
Unless you don't have a library.
Yeah. How does it work right now? Can you go get a library card? I don't think you can, right?
Ooh, you know what? I don't know, but if someone needs to borrow my library ID, DM me.
Me.
Help it out.
Okay. So now we're back. We can let you talk for a little bit.
Where do we leave off?
Sing Street was the last one, I believe.
Okay.
So what's next for you, my friend?
It is Deadpool. And, going into this film, I didn't know much about the character Deadpool. And I don't think that mattered because just you learn about Deadpool in this movie, and Ryan Reynolds is a great Deadpool as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed.
Better than he wasn't so great in whatever Wolverine movie that was, but
Yeah.
But this, I mean, I think Deadpool is one of the greatest characters of the decade.
Definitely, a lot of people I think would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Oh, and it's on FX Now and Sling.
Cool. All right. The next one I believe is on both of our lists.
Yes.
It is Everybody Wants Some. I took Bernie off of my list. That was a late bump out. And I thought that for some reason, I thought that that was the only Richard Linklater film that I had on my list, but I'm happy that this one made it on.
But you also have Boyhood.
Oh, yeah. I bumped one for the other and I forgot. So now I have two.
Great.
Favorite top 5 baseball movies?
That's kind of maybe.
I think top 5 for sure.
It probably is.
I mean, there's two so far that we've talked about on this list alone, but this is just like well, I mean, I know a little bit more about it because I was at the world premiere, but it's just, you could tell it's just like Richard Linklater going, "Hey, this is what happened to me in college."
Yeah. And it's like, for me, it was, being on a sports team, it just like, it just like made me think of like how much fun that was, you know.
So if you've ever been in that situation, it'll
Yeah.
bring back fond memories for you. Yeah, it's really like the storyline is just very loose and there's not a lot of conflict. It's just kind of like
It's like
I don't know
here,
how to stream of consciousness kind of,
it's kind of like this is what happens on a night out,
yeah, or, over the course of
or whatever
a
it was.
month or whatever. But yeah, great film, great baseball movie. Everybody Wants Some is available nowhere.
Yeah.
Whoops. All right, what is next up for me? Oh, that's you. Next up for me is Don't Think Twice.
I won't. I never do.
And Don't Think Twice is about an improv group, and it's a lot of really funny people. And I don't really know what else to say. Just check it out. It's great comedy, and it's yes another silly serious kind of film, and you'll recognize a lot of people, and it's a lot of funny people who you don't see in a lot of places getting a chance to do more in a role.
Yeah.
Don't Think Twice is available on Netflix. What do you got? What do you got next? Oh, I like this movie too.
The next step, another Ryan Gosling flick.
Hmm. You have a type. You definitely have a type.
Definitely. And this is one of this is where Gosling is more of a loudmouth.
Hmm.
But I don't know, just so much. It's like a buddy cop movie, and it's so much fun.
I think action comedies, a lot of people are looking for that kind of thing right now. So this is the perfect one for your list.
And little 70s period piece.
Always nice. Where can you find this one?
HBO and DirecTV
Okay, cool.
subscription.
A little bit of premium services there, but
Oh, and Max Go, whatever that is.
oh, like Cinemax.
Probably Cinemax, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. The next one on my list was another person's favorite who inquired, actually just before we started filming. This was off the top of his head. This is what Dave Rosefield picked as his favorite movie of the decade.
Whoa, Dave.
Yeah. So this is Hell or High Water, a really good modern Western, as I guess how I would describe it.
Yeah,
You would agree?
I would agree.
And I would say that my favorite Ben Foster role.
I love Ben Foster.
He's so good. So if you
Definitely.
like Ben Foster too, definitely worth checking out. I don't. It's like a good bank robbing story. You get the perspective of the film from both the bank robbers and the law, kind of intertwined and separately as they come together. Really good storytelling.
Great.
And Hell or High Water is available also on Netflix right now.
Netflix coming through.
Yeah. All right. Next up for you, speaking of animated films.
Finding Dory. And, all I really have to say about it is Baby Dory.
Hmm.
That's all I need. But if it was just 2 hours of Baby Dory, then it'd be my favorite film of all time.
And I assume we could find this one on Disney Plus.
You assume correctly.
Sweet. Anything else to mention?
Nope.
All right. Next up, I believe, is on both of our lists, right?
Nope.
This isn't on your list?
It's not on my list.
Oh, okay. So we're not friends anymore.
Well, someone has to not have it on their list.
What? That's not true. Not even a little bit. This is,
I know it's a fantastic movie and I love it. But, I knew it was on your list, so I didn't have to have it on my list.
I guess, but now I just think so much less of you. The funniest movie of the decade, in my opinion. And it's, if you want a straightforward more of a straightforward comedy, this is it. What else to say about it? Just watch it. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
This is one I would recommend going out and buying because it's not available anywhere.
I already did it.
Yep. And I believe I own it somewhere digitally. All right, next for you is one that I almost included as well, but did just miss the cut.
It happens.
Good old Nacho Vigilanda.
But Colossal, it's a different take on a monster movie, I guess.
Mhm. I love
Uh,
its take on the monster movie.
It's like, who's the real monster?
Hmm. And if
I
you like
wouldn't tell.
kaijus and things like that.
Um, but yeah, it's just a different kind of monster movie, and I don't want to give too much away, but it's available on Hulu, and I suggest you check it out.
Yep. Good call. All right.
But it's not like scary monster,
Mm-hmm. Well, it is pretty scary.
It's not like a horror movie, is what I'm saying.
No, yeah, no, I'm just kidding. It's really not that scary. Okay. Next up for me is The Big Sick. Just double checking to make sure that one wasn't on your list.
It wasn't.
Another real good comedy. I think Michael Showalter's been doing some real good stuff this decade. It's based on a true story. It's got the rom-com elements to it, but it's just a really well directed and well handled rom-com, and it's not so cheesy. Deals with some real issues, but also is really fun and funny, and definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. And where can you check it out?
That's a good question. The Big Sick is available on Prime Video.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up for you.
I got La La Land.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Ryan Gosling's on this list a lot.
Yeah, for sure. You got to type.
Yeah.
Anything to say about it other than almost Best Picture winner?
Yeah, it was so close. So close. I think in my opinion, I mean, I love Moonlight, but I liked this movie much more.
I don't hate this movie, which is saying a lot for a musical.
It is saying a lot because this is the type of movie that you would hate.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's whether you like musicals Or maybe you don't like musicals, you might like this.
It's a good sell.
Yeah.
Where's this available?
Uh, DirecTV and USA subscriptions.
Really? USA, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. The next one on my list, this one's not on your list either?
Um, Yeah, it didn't make it.
You're really, really not coming through for me here, bud.
Well, 50 films isn't enough to put everything on.
It is. You just got to trim the Ryan Gosling fat a little bit.
Oh no.
Brixby Bear is one that literally nobody saw, but I think that everybody should because it's very funny and it's very sweet.
Yeah,
Um,
it was very sweet.
Another one that I showed my staff and they fell in love with. It's odd. You could watch a trailer and be like, "What's this? You know, what's going on? I don't even know how to approach it." But criminally underseen, I think. And you'll recognize, of course, Kyle Mooney from Ball Champions.
Good neighbors.
Just kid, just kidding. Saturday Night Live. And I mean, Mark Hamill, Greg Kinnear, Andy Samberg, like big names, man.
Claire Danes.
Yeah. All right. Breezy Bear. I don't remember if this one's, yeah, not available. Buy it. Definitely worth it.
I would buy it.
You should already own it.
Well, maybe I will.
You have some real stinkers in your collection compared to Breezy Bear.
Well, not. If I find a copy of Brixby Bear at the Salvation Army, I'll buy it.
All right. You got a few films to get through here.
Okay, Lion, not available anywhere to stream, but
Really, really good.
yeah, really good. Really like, kind of like, not sad, sad, but like happy, sad.
Oh, it's
Like,
real melancholy.
it's sad, but like at the same time, you're like, oh no, yeah.
You sound just like me at the theater. I said you sound just like me at the theater. Oh no, yeah.
But it's based on a true story about this boy who basically gets lost from his family, and as an adult, he goes to find them.
Hmm.
And that's all I'll say about it.
If you like a good harrowing story, this is one of the ones. It's great. It's really good.
My my favorite Dev Patel role.
Oh yeah, hands down. Where can people find this?
My hands are already down. Nowhere.
Ah.
I don't even know why we're talking about it.
All right, next up.
This for me?
Oh yeah, you got three to catch up here before we get to the one that's on both
Oh,
of our lists.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. Thoroughbreds. It's on DirecTV, HBO Now, or I think it's on. I can't even read it. I think it might be Amazon that it says.
Okay, that makes sense. I feel like I've seen it on there.
But
Creepy, but
it is
like
creepy.
creepy
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And I just like something that really like stood out to me is just like the sound design
Hmm.
of it. Just like these like you know creepy little, not, it's not like music, it's just like creepy like ambiance.
Musical ideas.
Yeah. Um so check it out. It's so it's dark,
Hmm.
but it's good.
Messy at times, but in a good way. All right, you got one more.
One more, that'd be Call Me by Your Name.
Hmm.
Um, only available on DirecTV. But when we saw this in theater, we were in the very front row, all the way to the left. It was a packed house. My neck was hurting, but that didn't stop me from loving this movie.
You look like Timothée Chalamet in this poster.
That's true. That's exactly how I live. But yeah, like it really like made me love both Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer.
I think Michael Stuhlbarg is the unsung hero of this film.
That's true. Actually, he was in a lot of movies that year too.
Yeah, he had a big year, 2017.
Yeah, and I agree. He was also fantastic.
Mm-hmm. All right. This next one is on both of our lists.
That is true.
Another Edgar Wright track. Aforementioned on Scott Pilgrim versus the World. This is a real good time. It's a wild ride.
That's true.
Another one I happened to be at the world premiere of.
That's tight.
Mm-hmm.
I got someone mentioned something about Baby Driver.
Oh, good. What did they say?
Yeah. Gracie P says, Baby Driver is just so freaking great. The real MVP in this movie is the soundtrack. Each song fits the mood of each scene so perfectly. Whether it's a chase scene, falling in love at a diner, or getting hyped up for the job, the music pulls me in. Also MVP is Ansel Elgort. Okay, and Lily James. And evil Kevin Spacey. The criminal cast all fit their roles in a way that is crazy to the point of almost unbelievable. But then you remember crazy criminals means anything is pretty possible. Like how John Hamm just won't die. But he is evil and heartbroken, so I guess his adrenaline keeps him alive for so long. I don't know, but the movie pulls you in so much you don't even care. If I said everything that made me love this movie, I would just be reciting the plot of each scene for you. The movie is great. The acting is fab. You leave with some new additions for your Spotify playlist. 10 out of 10. And that was way too much to talk about, Baby Driver.
Good. It covered it for us. We really appreciate it. All right.
She really wrapped it all up in there.
Absolutely.
I agree 100%.
Baby Driver is available on FX now.
Like right now?
Right now. Here's your next one, bud.
This is my next one. The Shape of Water. Best Picture winner. Not available to stream anywhere. But I don't know. This like to me, this is a great science fiction romance. And you know, it's not every day you find yourself like in a film where a woman falls in love with a fish.
Cool. I like this movie. I didn't think it should have won that year, though.
Well,
Moving on. What?
Never mind.
You know.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so moving on to the next one. My next one. The next one on my list is one that made a last-second appearance. Another one that bumped something else at the buzzer there is The Disaster Artist. Another really good, relatively straightforward comedy about making movies.
Yep.
Which you know I have an affinity for.
Mm-hmm.
Directed by James Franco. Who would have guessed? If you're familiar with the cinematic train wreck that is The Room, this is the comedic retelling of how it was made.
Sorry, that Room with Brie Larson?
The Room.
Oh.
As I already mentioned, The Room.
The Room, yes.
Mm-hmm. So definitely check it out. Let's see, it's available on Prime Video, which is great. Canopy if you have that library subscription. And if you need a laugh, this is another good one for that. My list is just littered with comedies. All right, here's the next one for you.
Lady Bird.
I know that this was somebody's favorite.
Yeah, we have Leah C, who says, quirky, clever, heart-wrenching, coming-of-age story with incredible acting and dialogue. A mother-daughter relationship that's all too familiar to so many teen girls. And I'm not
Spot
a
on.
teen girl, and I never have been, but still, this film was great. And just, you know, it introduced me to Greta Gerwig and Saoirse Ronan and Timothy Chalamet and Lucas Hedges and
Big cast on here, and a lot of these people are doing good stuff these days.
Laurie Metcalf, so good. But yeah, like
Never was much of a Greta Gerwig fan until she got behind the camera and started directing. She's real good at that.
yeah, and you know, when I went into this film, I didn't know what the heck it was. I honestly thought it was about Lady Bird Johnson.
Something tells me that's not true, but
I did not know that it wasn't about that.
all right, another one on my list.
Did you like this movie that is up next on your list here?
I did. I don't want to, go too too far into it. Another one, definitely, probably in my top 5. It's if you like Seven Psychopaths, this is, I think, even better. Really, really, really strong acting performances, and I thought for sure better than The Shape of Water.
That's fair.
Yeah, but to each their own. And there was a lot of controversy surrounding this movie, but I will defend it until I die. So, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri is currently available on Cinemax.
Yeah.
Not available anywhere else.
For me, it kind of sucked that Woody Harrelson couldn't also get like an Oscar, because I thought he was also great.
Yeah.
But I think, Sam Rockwell deserved it.
I think the awards went to the right people.
Yeah.
All right. Next up for you.
Borg versus McEnroe. And I think this is for me, this is the film that really got like Shia LaBeouf back onto my radar. And now he seems like he's on everyone's radar now. But definitely by far the best tennis movie I've ever seen.
Name another one.
Battle of the Sexes.
Oh, hey. Nice.
Match Point.
Never seen it.
That Match Point is a great movie.
Nice.
Probably the only like Woody Allen film I actually like. I'll say it. But yeah, check it out. It's about Bjorn Borg and John McEnroe, and their
Wimbledon matchup.
Yeah, I think, is it Wimbledon? Yeah, it says it right there. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty tight.
Cool. All right. Next for me was another late addition to the list, is Molly's Game.
See, I thought about putting this on my list.
I really, really enjoyed this movie. And the first time I watched it in a theater where there was like an issue with the projector. And so there was like, the whole screen was just kind of shaking, which is really annoying. And I still really liked the movie, which is really saying something.
Yeah.
It's my favorite poker movie.
I would probably agree.
Yeah, although I mean I haven't really thought super deep about it, but I can pretty much guarantee it.
Yeah.
It's a great story. It is a biopic. Aaron Sorkin is real good at writing dialogue and telling stories. So it was nice to see him get a real good win directing this. You know what I mean? Because it was well liked.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think Jessica Chastain is one of the best actresses, or just sorry, best actors.
Absolutely. This is I think my favorite role of hers. She's done some great stuff, so that's saying something too.
Yeah.
Molly's Game is available today on Netflix. Comes out
Great.
available today.
Awesome.
All right. All right. Next up, the last of the Watiti. Oh no, we got one more. Just when you think you're done.
Yeah. Um,
This is on both of our lists, by the way. Just
yeah. Um, yeah, I hated the first two Thor movies. I mean, I can maybe hate's a strong word, but I just didn't like them or care about Thor.
I could say hate.
Okay. Um, and but this like just changed that, and this is by far I think the best Marvel movie of all time.
Yeah, agreed. It's the only one on my list. So,
I have a few, but this one trumps them all.
hmm
Oh, sorry,
so,
I said a bad word.
so if you haven't seen this one, or we're skipping it because it's a Thor movie and you didn't really care too much, circle back.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's on Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry, I keep
Oh, and I
forgetting.
don't know if I said Borg vs. McEnroe is on Hulu.
Yes, I believe it's a Hulu entity, right?
Yeah.
My next movie is my favorite of 2018. It is Bo Burnham's Eighth Grade, which is a shockingly, I would say, a shockingly accurate depiction of what it's like for an eighth grader, which is not what you would expect with a very um, silly comedian directing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is funny, but it's like gut wrenching and just really good storytelling and really good performances too by kids. It's
Yeah.
so hard, which is so hard to do. Eighth Grade is available on Amazon Prime and Canopy.
Great. And I enjoyed it much more than I did my eighth grade year.
Mhm. I think that's probably true for most people.
Yeah.
All right, I'm on to 2018, so we got to catch you up here.
Okay. Well, I got Coco, um, which I don't know if you haven't seen it, like you should. It's just so beautifully designed and lit, and I don't know. It's a story I've never seen before, and check it out, Disney Plus. I don't know if you're not seeing these Pixar movies, like I don't know, they're for everyone.
Get with it. All right, what do you got next here?
I believe I have.
Man, you really are back end heavy here. I'm almost out of films, and you got a lot to go.
Oh no. I got The Last Jedi.
Uh-huh.
You know, some people didn't like this film, and I think they're wrong, but that's okay. That's their opinion. I thought this film was like tight and one of the more like beautifully shot Star Wars films.
For sure. I think this is the best, honestly, the best storytelling of of the three new ones. And I may have a little bit more of a affinity for Force Awakens just because it kind of brought it back. But I think the way that they approached Last Jedi was filmmaking wise is the best.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
On Disney Plus.
I assume so. Next up.
Hereditary. One of the probably the only film of the decade that actually like scared me. Like when I was watching it, like I was scared. And that's what I want in a horror movie is to get scared. And this did that. And Toni Collette, like I think she was snubbed. Like she deserved at least a nomination. And yeah, Hereditary, spooky, scary.
Toni Collette
Check
rules.
it out. Yeah,
Where can you
it's
see
on
it anywhere?
Amazon Prime, and Canopy.
Sweet. All right. The next one that everybody's
Um,
already seen is
yep, everyone's already seen Avengers: Infinity War. It's on Netflix. So if you haven't seen it, now's your chance to go to Netflix and see it. I don't need to go too much into those. But A Star Is Born. I mean, I have a thing for Lady Gaga and and Bradley Cooper and Sam Elliott. So I was all aboard this train.
Bradley Cooper's Sam Elliott impression is pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best I've seen. And Donna L said that Lady Gaga is queen, and here comes her EGOT.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. What do you got next? Oh, where can these kids? Is Stars Born available?
that's on HBO.
Okay. Perfect. I believe this next one's on both of our lists, right?
I think so. I would assume so.
What with our skateboarding roots?
Yeah, I think this is going to resonate more with people who skateboarded. That is in our age range.
I
Because
definitely agree with that.
it was pretty like it brought back a lot of skating memories.
For sure. I knew all of these people in this movie. Like their real life equivalents.
Yeah.
So good stuff.
Yeah. And it's on Amazon Prime and Canopy.
Nice. All right. Let's keep on trucking in your 2018 list here.
Right.
Because you got a lot of them.
Okay. I think I only got two more though.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, you just have a lot of 2019. Jesus Christ.
Good year.
You can't have 13 movies from 2019.
Well, I didn't know the rules.
This is a good one to talk about because somebody did mention to me that this was their favorite film.
Right.
This is Kyle V's favorite film, although he did mention a few others. But the one at the top of the list was this one. He said that he liked Into the Spider-Verse, Arrival, one we'll talk about later, Peanut Butter Falcon, Three Billboards, which we already mentioned, Alita Battle Angel, and Annihilation. He said those are just the few that he could think of. He didn't really get into movies until a couple of years ago when I told him to stop watching shitty movies.
Thank God you told him.
Because that's a pretty good list, especially
Yeah.
for him. I told him that he couldn't pick Boss Baby, so
Aw.
sorry, Kyle. So go ahead.
On his list.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure it is. Go ahead. Tell us what you loved about Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. It's great. It's one
First
of the
of all,
best, better animated
this was
films.
my favorite film of the year. Um, just the animation style is definitely, I've never seen that before.
They really managed to pull off a real comic book kind of feel.
Yeah, and I don't know, if you haven't seen it, go see it, or sit at home and see it because it's on Netflix.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, especially if you love Spider-Man.
I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, but that's probably the best Spider-Man movie, I think.
I'd agree.
Yeah. All right. What do I have left in 2018? Oh, I got a few. Let's do some of mine here.
Okay.
The next one on my list is Hearts Beat Loud, which is another music themed movie and
Mhm.
one where they do it correctly and not breaking into song as a musical. Um, I love Nick Offerman. He made my list in a few different films, but I think this is like if you like Parks and Rec, if you've seen Nick Offerman and stuff, and you're like, oh, I love that guy. This is a really, really like endearing role. So he plays the father, and he's great in it, and he's really believable, and he's a good musician too. So
Yeah.
Hearts Beat Loud, I believe, is available on Hulu, and then also available on Canopy and Hoopla, which is always a great sign of a good movie if it's available at your local library.
Yeah.
All right, the next one on my list is The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, yet another Coen Brothers movie. This one, an anthology film released through Netflix, so that's where you can still see it. Um, it's it's just another thing that another uh, Western injection. I love westerns, I guess. So and this is
Yes,
like
you know, I love
I
westerns.
know I love westerns, but see, that's the thing is I don't necessarily love classic westerns, or I'm not all caught up on seeing all the classic stuff. But a modern western is right up
Yeah.
my alley. So this is like an anthology film. It's like 5 or 6 episodes of a TV show, and none of them really relate, but there's definitely through lines, and there's a reason that they're all together in this film. But yeah, it's just like short western snippets that are funny and exciting, and it's just a great watch.
Yeah.
The Of course, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs is available on Netflix, where it was originally released. Let's see what I got left here. And my last one from 2018 is Bad Times at the El Royale,
Ooh.
which is um, a Drew Goddard film. If you've seen The Good Place, he's a regular director on that. He's done a lot of other great stuff. This is a great mystery thriller. So if you're in the mood for a mystery thriller, and you got 2.5 hours to spare, you'll see Jeff Bridges again popping up. John Hamm's in it. He's great. Chris Hemsworth plays a cult leader, also great. Cynthia Erivo, who most recently was nominated for an Oscar, she has a singing role in this, so you'll hear her amazing voice. And again, Nick Offerman, if not only for a couple of minutes, he
What a
is
cat.
he is available. This one is on HBO Now and Cinemax. All right, the last one on your list from 2018.
Is Vice.
Adam
Another,
McKay popping up again.
yeah. Um, Christian Bale as Dick Cheney, crazy.
Yeah,
Uh, and honestly, I think like all the actors and who they portray are just like awesome.
spot on.
Sam Rockwell as George W. Bush, um, Steve Carell as Rumsfeld.
Mhm.
Um, everyone's so good. Um, and for me, like I just really loved the editing style of Adam McKay's films. I don't know if he has the
Yeah,
same editor or
he probably does. It's really the same style as
The
Big
Big
Short.
Short.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you like
Yeah.
that style, for
Funny-
sure, both of them are worth seeing.
It's funny and insightful.
Yeah, you'll learn some truly horrific things.
Yeah.
All right, so we are moving into the year of 2019, which has there's a few of them on there for me, but let's go down your list because you have 13 apparently. Jesus.
Yeah, I'll try to get through them kind of quickly.
Yeah, especially since they're pretty recent, so you'll have heard of most of them.
Yeah. So we got The Farewell. Um, I know, Trevor didn't like Crazy Rich Asians, but
He
this,
loved The Farewell.
yeah, which is saying something. I both liked Crazy Rich Asians, but I loved this one. And Aquafina, like, she's a great actor.
Who knew?
But yeah, just check it out. It's on Prime, Amazon.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
Is Us, you and me.
Yeah,
Um, I personally like this better than Get Out.
agreed.
Um,
But I know we're very alone in that, I think.
I think so, and that's okay.
Yeah.
This one is like, it's pretty cool.
I mean, really don't want to give anything away to anybody who hasn't seen it, I guess. But I almost included it. It was one that I had toyed with, just on the outskirts. Lupita Nyong'o, my God, like what a
She's great.
performance.
Snubbed.
Yeah, one of the best of the decade for sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm looking forward to seeing more things from Jordan Peele.
who isn't? Where
I
can
know.
you find it? Is it available?
HBO and DirecTV.
Nice. All right, next up.
All right, Endgame. Like, everyone's probably seen it
Can
on
I
Disney Plus.
do I get one veto on your list?
Uh, no,
Yeah, I do. You got to get rid of one of these two.
of which ones?
The same movie, Infinity War and Endgame.
I have to
I'm upset that you don't have Brigsby Bear or Popstar, but you have both Infinity War and Endgame,
because
which are
I
basically
like
the same movie.
because I like those kind of movies more than you.
Hmm. Okay.
All right, okay, I'll take one off.
Say your Endgame piece. You're fine.
No, I'm gonna take off Infinity War and I'll add Popstar.
Okay. Thank
Are you
you.
happy?
Yeah, I am. And you get one veto on mine too if you want, but try trimming
Well,
that fat. You know what I mean? There's
I'll
nothing.
I'll have to go back and look.
Okay,
Um,
anything left to say about Endgame? Disney Plus, right?
yeah.
All right, what's next?
All right. What's next is Detective Pikachu, which honestly I think I would rather like trim that off than one of the.
One of the Endgame or one of the Infinity Wars.
Um, but what's for me, this was like really important because I've been waiting for so long for a live action Pokemon movie.
It
And
it was nice not to be let down. I'll say that.
yeah. Um, and I always thought like, oh, they're just gonna like do the first live action Pokemon movie will be, Ash and Pikachu origin story. And they didn't do that. And I was cool with it. Like this was like a very surprising and refreshing storyline. that I 100% was down for.
Nice. I know this one's available on HBO.
And DirecTV.
Nice. I just rewatched it not that long ago. All right, next up.
I got John Wick 3.
Really, over 1 and 2.
Yeah, and the reason why this one I like more than those ones is I think it's because of Halle Berry.
Okay.
Like I've never really been a fan of Halle Berry's
Mm,
until this movie. Like she kicked ass. I know
true.
she's only in it for such a short amount of time, but yeah.
Cool.
And this is on HBO and DirecTV as well.
Nice. All right, you got 7 left? 8
I
left?
think eight. Yeah.
All right, say something about A Hidden Life.
All right. A Hidden Life. I don't think a lot of people have seen it or will. I know how you feel about Terrence Malick, and that's how I mostly feel about him, except for this film. I thought was beautiful and great, and like the cast like did a perfect job, and it's like it's very you see like the struggle that like people went through during World War II, and like in Germany, like, you know, having to like say no, I'm not going to be a Nazi to the Nazis. Like
Mhm.
it's intense.
Sounds
and,
good, man.
and the score I thought was the best of that year.
Saying a lot. There's a lot of good scores that year.
Yeah.
All right, where can you find Hidden Life? Anywhere?
Nope.
Yeah, there's not going to be much left. I got one on my list that we can talk about that is available.
I have two on my list that are available.
Okay. The first one for me is Booksmart, which is another hilarious comedy from last year.
Mhm.
And Olivia Wilde, who knew, great director. Um, Caitlin Dever and Beanie Feldstein, great rapport.
Mhm.
They bounce a lot of good comedy off each other. And yeah, definitely worth checking out. This one is on Hulu. And then the other one, I don't think it's on your list, but it is on mine. And rather than just skip over it real quick, is The Peanut Butter Falcon, which is the one of two big Shia LaBeouf movies this year,
Yeah.
directed by a guy from our hometown. And just a really sweet story. And definitely worth
Yeah,
checking out.
this one barely missed my list.
But yeah, I mean, you got to have John Wick 3 on there. So,
I do.
all right, let's go back over to yours. We're almost done here. This one's on both of our lists.
All right.
You
Parasite,
may have heard of it.
Best Picture winner, among other awards, and rightfully so.
Bong Joon-ho.
If you haven't seen this film, go do it.
Yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's not always the best picture that wins best picture, but this one's up there. And if you like it and you like other Bong Joon-ho movies, then you can become a fan of his. And those people are called bong hitters.
Really, I did not know that.
No, I just made it up.
Hey, that's pretty good.
All right. So I got 3 left. I think you got 5.
Yeah.
Parasite isn't available anywhere, I don't think.
No.
But that may change soon.
Yeah.
Oh, you have 6 left.
All right.
Get
Well, let me
into
just
it.
all right. Marriage Story, Netflix. I think I think the overall like performances um, was the best in this film. Scarlett Johansson, Adam Driver, Laura Dern, who won um, Best Supporting Actress, and Alan Alda,
Yep.
even
Best acting of the year in this
best.
movie.
I think best acting ensemble.
Yeah.
Um, but like not like that much happens, but like a lot happens.
Mhm. All right.
Like
Of course, you can see it on Netflix.
a quick insight to a divorce, and yeah, check it out, Netflix. Next, I got Waves. Um, it that that movie was crazy to me. Like it's kind of split into two halves. The first half follows um, there's a family. The first half follows the son, and then the second half kind of follows the daughter, and it's just like it's I don't know. I just go see it, man.
I haven't seen it, so I'll still have to get around to it.
It's good. It's good. It's not anywhere you can see right now, but
Pay for it.
I'd say yeah.
All right. Next up is one that's on the last one that's on both of our lists. The final YTT of the decade,
Yep.
and the best movie of 2019.
Yep.
Funny, heartfelt, a completely different take on a World War II film.
Mm-hmm.
Strong acting, great comedy, decent war scenes.
Yeah. I'd
Just
say this was Scarlett Johansson's best performance, at least of the year, and I don't know, probably of her career, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. Jojo Rabbit currently not available, but you can buy it, and I suggest that you do.
Yeah, I will.
All right, and home stretch here.
All right, to the 1917. I almost said 2017, but 1917. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's World War One, which you don't get to see a lot of World War One movies.
It's true.
Only World War Two, but this one, it's made to look like it's all one shot, and that's crazy. Like cinematography wise, like this is, I mean, it won best cinematography, and that was rightly so. Yeah, and any technical aspect of this film is amazing.
A plus.
Yeah,
All right.
but you can't stream it anywhere for free right now.
Yeah, as is the case with most of these as we wind down here.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Little Women, another Greta Gerwig, Saoirse Ronan.
Collab.
For me, like this was another like fantastic ensemble performance. I've never read Little Women, or I haven't seen the other I've seen a little bit of another Little Women, but we didn't finish it. But this was just so great.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say further on it, but
So whether you like Little Women or Big Women or Little Men, check it out.
tight. All right, the next one for me is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yet another Tarantino. I know. Apologies. Another. It was a great year for ensemble casts, and
Yeah,
Brad Pitt was just the best thing about this movie, which
yeah,
was already there's a lot of great things about it. So, but another gear for Tarantino where it wasn't the hyper violent, uh, really aggressive kind of movie. It was really a slow burn, and it was just like an ode to the Hollywood that he grew up in, and how and when he was learning to make films. So it was just as a love letter. Um, Actually, is available. Where is it available? On Stars, if you have Stars. Um,
nice.
but I'm sure you've heard about it, and it's definitely not worth skip. Definitely don't skip it.
Yeah. So when I saw this, at first I thought the movie was like, going like very slow, but then when it came to the end, I thought it was only halfway through. I was
Mm.
ready for a whole nother half. So it was kind of like slow and fast at the same time.
They'll
But
trick your mind.
Kyle L says, "Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is probably the most fun I've had watching a movie in a long time. Should count for something."
It does. It does, Kyle. Thanks. All right. And your last film, I believe you just saw the other day.
I did. Portrait of a Lady on Fire. This movie I was trying to see in theaters for the longest time, but it was never in theater around me. And then when it finally was, I just wasn't able to make it there. And then it came on Hulu, and I was so happy. And so we watched it, and oh my God, it was such a beautiful film. It's on Hulu. I highly recommend it. Um,
Maybe I'll get to it tonight.
yeah, maybe.
All right. The last one. Oh, you said Hulu already, right? For that.
Yeah.
Last one, also not available anywhere, but definitely worth getting if you have the means. And if
Mhm.
you're looking for something a ton of fun, if you like murder mysteries, or if you like anybody in this giant, ridiculous cast, it's
I
all
like
worth
most of
it.
them.
Yeah, for sure. It's all worth it. If you have the time to spend to sit down and you want to enjoy something fun and exciting and it'll keep you guessing and all that good stuff. This is your one of your best options.
Yeah.
Knives Out, Ryan Johnson.
I'm all in on Knives Out.
Well, all right, we got through them all. There's 100 films for you to watch, some of them overlapping, but we hope that you're staying safe, and we want you to be able to enjoy some movies while you're inside. Do you have any more people that reached out to you that mentioned films that weren't on the list?
I did have people mention films that weren't on the list. Um, let's see. But I mean, maybe we don't even talk about them since they weren't on our list.
Well, I figured I'd mention a few here since I did have a few people reach out to me. So we did have one from Adriana L. On the put on the spot, kind of, but she said that Yesterday was one that she had been watching a lot recently. A
Nice.
great film if you like the Beatles and you're looking for something soft and sweet. Unfortunately, I got a message from our Canadian friend Nick Shuchuk. He said that his favorite movie of the decade was The Dark Knight Rises, which is definitely not even the best film of the trilogy, but technically was the only one that came out this decade. So
That's
you know,
well, I mean,
okay, Shuchuk, okay. Um,
you seen any movies since then?
I My guess is no. I mean, I don't know what they get because he spent most of the decade in Sweden, I think. So maybe they just don't get good movies over there.
Oh yeah, sorry to hear.
Um, Liam M sent me a message to say that he wanted to put his vote in for Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay.
Not a terrible choice, but also I know his his forte, and I was surprised that he didn't say Captain Marvel.
Huh.
He's got a thing for Brie Larson.
I got to
But
think Brie Cheese.
um, Izzy V said that Dallas Buyers Club was his favorite of the decade. He said it was a tough choice, but that was number one for him. I got one from Travis L here. He said that A Wrinkle in Time was the best of the decade. Thanks for your input. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
And then last one on the list I have from our friend Anthony Mays, who you might know from the Cinephobe podcast. They do notoriously bad movies or cult favorites that are considered bad, and then they talk about them on their podcast.
Nice.
He wanted to mention Inception because he still hasn't stopped thinking about it since it came out. And then he also mentioned Under the Skin, but specifically the scene where Scarlett Johansson's trying to eat cake.
Okay.
And you got any more to add?
Just more from people who have already said things.
Okay. If you're welcome to add anything in if you would like to, but
Let's see here. Okay, I like this one. The Wolf of Wall Street. Let's face it, Leo should have won Best Actor this year before The Revenant. This film shows the highest of highs to the lowest of lows while making Jordan Belfort look cool the entire time. Jonah Hill not winning Best Supporting is the upset of the decade. This movie blackballed Scorsese in Hollywood, hence no wins since this movie released. Irishman wasn't the best movie this last year, but more than deserving of a single award cast alone. So you get two movies in there.
it's a little. I'd have to disagree with a lot of that, but I
From
mean,
Noel L.
yeah, I mean, I appreciate the input, but I think that The Irishman was good and worthy of nominations, but I don't see any situations where it would have won.
Yeah, I wasn't about The Irishman.
Yeah, me neither. But I did really like Wolf of Wall Street, and I did like Jonah Hill's performance. My award for him would have been for Moneyball. I thought that performance was a little more up my alley. But I think who won the year 2013. That was the year that McConaughey won for Buyers Club. So I can't really say that that was the wrong choice.
Yeah, for me, that's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah, tough one.
Both.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Anything else? Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up here?
Let's see. One more thing from. No, let's just end it there.
Call it there. All right. Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We know you have a lot of options for media at the moment, so thanks for listening to us for a while. I know that we gave you a lot to choose from here, but we hope that you will do the right thing and watch some of these films.
And if you need to narrow it down, just text us. We'll tell you which one to watch.
Yeah. If you got our numbers. If you don't, sorry.
Find us on wherever this is. Just leave your name number in the comments.
We'll text you which ones to watch.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Travis. Appreciate it.
Yeah, this is great that we could do this via Zoom.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing the Stormtrooper. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't really bring him or her. They were just
permanent living space. Did the face hugger make it all the way through?
What's that?
Did the face hugger make it all the way through?
Oh, there we go.
Nice. All righty. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.